Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Planescape Torment, where we just learned to become a mage. That being said, I probably should sleep. I'm even at to sleep. Not the floor. How do I sleep? There's the sleep button. Or I can't remember. How I sleep. Um. God, I've forgotten. Right, rest party. Too dangerous.
All right.
Never mind that then. Why is this active?
All right.
Right spot. Oh, we're back over here. This is the start of Sydney. There are some things to do. Come back here in a bit. Huge monument. Very phallic. There's another companion that we get later. Anna. That's the alley. I don't want. Alright.
All right.
Might be the right. Yeah, it is. Right. The area I wanted. You don't even near these like bugs. Activate. Can design this game is
All right.
fun. Man before you is old. Dry yellow skin has the scars of one who has travelled everywhere and never rested long in any one place. His pinched face is inhumanly angular, and his eyes sweep out from his skull, tapering to points. He wears a loose-fitting orange tunic, and a strange, shimmering blade is strapped across his back. The blade looks to be of a two-pronged glaive, made of some metal whose surface swirls like a filmy oil on a pond. Greetings. Man turns to you, his eyes like polished coal, stares through you, and for a moment you wonder if you might be blind. The weapon suddenly turns a dead, flat black, mirroring the man's eyes. Are you alright?
Hail, traveler.
He says nothing for a moment, and merely searches your face with his eyes. Voices are quiet and somber, like a wind whispering through the branches of a great tree. Hail.
Your eyes have the weight of one who has traveled far to be in this place.
Man meets your gaze, his eyes burrowing into yours. His weapon drains of its black color. Assuming it's shimmering you noticed before you spoke to it. Man's gaze does not waver from yours. I am known, Dakon. Emphasis he places on the word known strikes you as odd, yet familiar at the same time. You are not known to me. I do not know myself. That is for the best. In knowing yourself, there be a little in the plains left worth knowing. All silent for a moment, still studying you with his cold black eyes. I would know why you have come to the city. Looking for answers, I have many questions. Speak your questions, I will hear you. Creatures are unfamiliar to me. A Givzerai. Givzerai is one of the people. One of the people? A Givzerai. What are the Givzerai exactly? Dakon is silent for a moment, then speaks. Our history does not need to be made known to you. It would bleed to death on Time's Blade before I recited a fraction of the histories of our people. I don't need to know your histories, but I would know of your people as they are now. Dakon is silent for a moment. Know this and accept it as an answer. We are the people who make our home upon the shifting plane of limbo. With a deft motion, Dakon slips the blade from his back and holds it before him. Wait, see what happens. There, we mold the matter of limbo with our minds. We forge cities with our thoughts. As you watch, a series of rippling waves of metal begin to roll forth from the center of the blade. Pitch and crest of the waves match the inflections in Dakon's voice. In its chaos we dwell, with only our knowing to preserve us. We are the Givzerai. What is that blade you have? Moved shifted in response to your voice. It is a Karak blade. It is an object that lets others know the rank of its Karak. What does that mean? Dakon falls silent for a moment, searching for the correct words. In your tongue, the closest translation is chaos matter. People may shape it with their thoughts. Karak is not shaped by heat, but by knowing oneself. It is a mirror that reflects the will of the wielder on its surface edge. When one knows himself, the blade is strong, harder and stronger than steel. One does not know themselves, the blade is as water, formless and weak. What rank does the blade signify? Are you willing to sell it? Blade is a symbol carried by the Zerf. The Zerf is one who knows the words of Zerfamon. Knowing the words of Zerfamon, they know themselves. Zerfamon? Zerfamon founded our race. He knew the Githzerai before they knew themselves. He defined the people. He gave them one mind. Right? Can you tell me about this city? It is known by the name Sigil. Among the people, it is known as a city that does not know itself. It doesn't know itself? What do you mean? The city exists, but it does not know itself. Not knowing itself, its existence is flawed. How is it flawed? The city exists in opposition. It set itself apart from the planes, yet it seeks to be everywhere at once. Walls are doors, yet it keeps these doors locked. Such an existence tells of a thing that does not know itself. Not knowing itself, it is flawed. What if the city is not flawed? The thing does not need to be ordered and have purpose to. What if these contradictions are strengths that you can see? Your question a question. What if the city is flawed and you see its contradictions all around you? Proof to your question a question. You claim the city is existing, or you have accepted this rather than explore the possibility that something greater may exist. That suggests you are flawed and that you do not search for knowledge but only for a convenient answer. Dakon falls silent. There is no knowing the answer to the questions we have asked, yet the city exists. That is all. Yet I would maintain that we know ourselves by the questions we ask and the ones we do not. We cease asking questions and accept only what we can perceive, then we will cease to know ourselves. Dakon's voice has changed slightly, become heavier. Such words have never been spoken before. I have heard them and know them. It's laid a truth bomb on this. Where have you heard them? Words are mine. Once I knew them and knew their meaning. I had forgotten them until you spoke. Dakon's gaze travels through you, and his blade stops shimmering. Bleeding of all color until it is translucent. There is a moment of silence and Dakon looks up at you. I will travel with you. I accept.
Your path is mine.
Strangely enough, his voice seems distant and it echoes as if speaking from a great distance. Nice.
What is your will?
Dakon turns to you and his eyes like polished coal. His blade mirrors his eyes for a moment as you address him. There are things I would know, Dakon. I want to ask you about our travels. You know of a man named Farad. That one is not known to me. Okay. Or Sojourner. Location of such a thing is not known to me. Okay. I ask you about your teachings. Dakon waits. Can you teach me anything of the art, Dakon? Know that the way of the people is not the same as the art you have come to know. It is not the energy that gives strength, it is knowing. Self that gives strength. The teachings of Zerfamon speak of such things. Will you teach me the way of Zerfamon, Dakon? Do you know what you have asked? The texture of Dakon's blade flows until it becomes as stone. To walk the path of Zerfamon, you must know of the people. Knowing of such things by one not of the people is a matter. There are those not of the people who have heard the way of Zerfamon, but they do not know the way. Dakon, I want to know of the people and know Zerfamon's teachings. I believe there is wisdom to be learned in such things.
Updated my journal.
Know that I have heard your words and I shall test them. Learn you must know the people. Know the people, you must know the unbroken circle of Zerfamon. Dakon holds up the stone disc in his possession and his spider-like fingers hook into its sides. There is a click and the plates of the circle slide into a new configuration. It reverses the motion, sealing the stone. Know the first circle of Zerfamon is open to you. Study it and then I will hear your words. Oh. Right. I'm not talking again. It's been a little while. Let's talk to some people. Ebb Creepknees. See a slightly stooped old man with a full grey beard and a lion's mane of grey hair. He wears a couple of shoulder guards as armor and he keeps a helmet nearby. He smokes a pipe and carries a pouch of tobacco around his waist. He looks pretty strong. He's a little plump and also appears to have some sort of breathing trouble. Well now, aren't you a sight, lad? Never have I seen so many scars blanketed a fella. Like a scar cloak you wear. Where you been? Hanging out in a grain thresher? He laughs. Oh, I'm just jesting with you, lad. No offense meant, and I hope no offense taken. I'm Eb. He extends his hand. Greetings, Eb. Handshake is firm. I hereby tender my apologies for the unfair jesting, lad. Hope no hard feelings. Can I buy you a tankard or two or something to smooth any ruffled feathers? Why not? That's the spirit, lad. Bide a moment. He rises to his feet and heads to the bar. After a moment, he returns to his seat with a pair of tankards. Here you go, lad. Drink up. Takes a massive swallow from his own tankard, puffs on his pipe, and says, "What can old Eb do for you on this fine sigil day?" Had some questions. Oh, well, I gathered that just to look at you. I mean, you don't look like you're from around these parts, lad. Look a little too out of sorts to be a seasoned native. Eb chuckles and takes another drink. So what can I help you with, lad? You need to know the lay of the land? Eb winks. Who are you? Eb Creekneys, third measure of the harmonium, now retired and being a tout with one's voice since I don't step as lightly as I might these past 2 or 3 decades. He chuckles. Now lad, who be you and what trouble might you be in? Third measure of the harmonium? Eb puffs off slightly and Pryor gets a semi-stern look at his face. Aye, third measure of the harmonium. Relaxes a little. Though I haven't served the tour of duty in many a decade, pushing a quill wasn't quite up my alley after all the fights and skirmishes I've been in. So I just bide my time keeping tabs on things down here in the hive and helping out a little where I can. You look like someone who might need a hand. Are you in some kind of trouble, lad? Few troubles. I woke up in the mortuary and seem to have forgotten who I am. Eh? Eb blinks and frowns. What was that you said, lad? Then you woke up in the mortuary. Eb studies you closely. Oh, now did they mistake you for dead under all those scars may have? Eb chuckles. Can't say I would have been any smarter. He puffs his pipe. Them dusties. Catches himself. I mean, them dustmen. Dusties being a rude term to refer to them pale-faced fellas, and I don't mean them too much disrespect. They have all the perceptions and friendliness of a gravestone sometimes, eh? Can't say I couldn't see them screwing that up. No, lad. Alright, that's what I heard. Know someone named Farad. Farad? Eb frowns, takes a pipe from himself. Now, lad, wouldn't you be wanting with a Burke like Farad? I think I used to know him. Aye, well, the more is your misfortune then. Mayhap they're getting some better for you then. Eb puffs heavily on his pipe. What do you know of him? Well, now, I don't know everything there is to know about old Farad, but I know some of the dark surrounding him. You're determined to track down that spider and nail him to a wall. Suppose I could spill some of the chant, so you know what you're tangling with. He pauses to tamp his pipe. Farad dug his nest deep into Ragpicker's Square not too long ago. Got a bunch of collectors and gangs together. Started what one could almost consider a collecting faction, be that as it may be. Where can I find him? Well, lad, if you're looking for Farad, which I would say is pretty balmy of you, you're a little off the beaten path. You want to be finding Ragpicker's Square. Chain is that Farad set up his kip somewhere in the square. Even an old fellow like me who's been around ring a few times don't know exactly where. I figure that Farad wants to keep the dark on his location dark. If you're all bound and determined to find Farad, go to Ragpicker's Square and try to dig up Farad's location from some of the locals. Try and be careful about it, there's plenty in the square that would make a gut harm out of you as soon as they look at you. I'll probably stop asking about where Farad is because I know where he is. A journal. Missing a journal? Was there more to the journal than just pages and words? Otherwise I can't imagine too many bloods who would bowl themselves with letters unless it was really hot and spicy. Much use for books and learning around here. I don't know where you might find such a thing. Ed puffs on his pipe and snaps his fingers. But you know, lad, if Farad is the one who scraped you off the sigil spit, then he might know the dark of where your stuff is. Most likely in his larder, if you ask me. Dead man is usually in no position to keep his possessions when collectors stumble across his body. Right. Are you? Tell me of Sigil and its environs. Eb laughs louder. You don't think small, do you? If you want to know what's outside the city, go talk to Kandrian Ilborn over there. He's the traveller of this place. As for the rest of it, well, I can tell you of the lady, the Davis, keys and portals, the way to keep track of time, the way the city's laid out. What is it you wanted to know? Lady. Well now, not many know much about her, lad, and I'm figuring even those that know more than a little don't know too much more. She's a mystery, she is, and even should you run across her, powers forbid, she's silent and deadly. Not evil as far as I can tell, but she keeps the dark about herself and Sigil pretty tight. None's been able to penetrate it, and if they have, they've been mazed. Mazed. Aye, sometimes bloods will be packed off to a place where they can't do no harm. The lady sees she'll take a bit of sigil, make a little dimensional pocket out of it, a maze. Places those that have crossed her in there and lets them rot. Eb pubs his pipe. Now, you can't escape getting mazed once the lady sets her gaze on you, lad. Get you eventually, no matter how hard you try to dodge her. Be walking down an alley or about to step through a portal or take a left turn down a street you've gone many fold times before. Suddenly, you're someplace you don't recognize. Now, mazes aren't escape-proof. There's always a way out of each one. The portal that lady places there. You just have to figure out where it is and how to use it. Alright. Davis. Aye, those funny floating bloods that speak in symbols, Eb laughs. Quite a piece of work, eh? Davis are kind of the lady's janitors and workmen, doing exactly what she wants. Make sure Sigil's running up to snuff, patching walls, tearing down old buildings, building new ones, setting up portals, sealing off others, and on and on. Pretty neutral faring bunch, and you don't want to interfere with one or kill one, or you'll bring the lady's wrath down on you right quick. Okay. Time. The way we measure time in sigils by the brightness of the sky. See, we haven't got a sun and moon like most worlds. We just got this everlasting haze that brightens and darkens at regular cycles. What most folks call midnight, we call anti-peak. What they call noon, we call peak. See, it's based on the peak and anti-peak of the brightness. When someone says something's about 5 hours past peak, that's what they mean. City's layout. Whew, let me wet my tongue. He takes a pull from his tankard. The city floats above an infinitely tall spire, the spire. It lies on its side like a discarded wagon wheel, but there's no spokes that connected to the spire. It's divided into 6 wards, each of them with its own function. Right now you're in the hive. I think the purpose of the hive is to be squalor to the rest of the city's grandeur, he laughs. Factions, philosophical clubs, or gangs if you prefer, divide up the running of the city between them. Are you in a faction? Eb raises his hand as if to stop you and laughs slightly. Oh, now hold on, lad. I'm no has-been faction member, they say, and they're right. But once you're one of the Harmonium, you're a Harmonium for life. They're the Bloods that try to make sure Sigil always stays out of trouble. No rocking the spire, no folks getting too over-enthusiastic about hurting each other, keeping the city down to a low roar. We try and keep the peace, lad, and most times we do a decent job. Right? Keys and portals. Sigil's called the City of Doors for a reason, lad. Portals everywhere. Portals are, well, like doors that lead across the multiverse. Except they don't look like doors. Instead, they can be bounded. Any bounded space. Window, door, pothole, picture frame, barrel hoop, the spaces inside scaffolding, a wardrobe. Each could be a portal, waiting for just the right key to open it and take you someplace in the multiverse. Now, keys. Go on. Oh my god. Each portal has a key you need to open it. Now, while portals can be any bounded space, keys have more variety. They can be anything from a little tune you hum next to the portal, to dancing a jig, to being in the right mood, having a piece of the place you want to go in your hand, and on and on. In my youth, I once convinced a girl that kissing a man beside her could open a portal to Arcadia. Turned out I was right, and many trips to Arcadia did we have. Many portals have never been found. There's some you can uncover just by asking people and getting the right key. Finding out at the dark of a portal is the toughest part, but I warn you, lad, portal hopping shouldn't be a pastime for a fella in your way, nor should you be wandering Sigil after dark, neither. Do best to stick to the main ways, an open peak, and watch yourself. What other places can you recommend? Well, and puffs on his pipe and studies you, this is perhaps the best kit you could have wanted to. Judging by your tattoos, you might be partial to having designs on your body. In which case, there's a tattoo salon a little spirewood from here. You want to stay away from the alley of dangerous angles. Ignis torched that place not long ago, and ever since a bunch of bad bloods have set up their kip in that stretch of desert. That's what. Alright, hey, well. Oh. See a lad who barely looks a day over 18. His face seems to betray some tension. Help you, Cutter? Who are you? Caleb, a mercy killer. I'm here with Tana and Wilson to catch my first criminal. What can you tell me about the mercy killers? Well, sorry, I have to get used to saying that now. I believe that justice is the most important thing in existence. I believe that without justice, there is no meaning, and without meaning, we might as well just go off and kill ourselves. I don't want to kill myself, so I decided justice is the meaning. If you want to know more, you ought to ask one of these other two, or find one of our recruiters. They'll talk your ear off. I do that. Looking for a journal. Journal? No, sorry. I'm still new here, so I'm not all that connected yet. If I see one, I'll let you know. Around the bar. What are you doing? Well, seeing as I'm a new mercy killer, I'm supposed to bring a criminal to justice just to show I can handle the field work. I decided I wanted to catch a killer, so we asked around and got told he was going to be here. Still haven't seen him though. I'm a little nervous to tell the truth. If you'll excuse me, I really ought to get looking at the faces here. Cranes his neck and looks around the bar. Quicks. Barkus. Oh. See a short, rotund man with a perplexed expression on his face. From the lines of his loose skin, it looks like it's not common. He carries a flagon of ale that looks like it's in the process of being emptied, rapidly. In between swallows, he speaks in a gentle voice, so quiet that you can barely hear his words. Hello, traveler. My name is Ilquix. Can I be of some assistance? Greetings. I'd like to ask you some questions. What do you want to know, my friend? Who exactly are you? I'm but a humble man with a slight, flowery, poetical bent and a tendency towards the supernatural. I regret that I have none of my supplies here, or should I be most eager to teach you the ways of power? Tell me, who's that burning man? That. There's the last unfortunate who chose to exercise his individual will without the strength to back up his desires. His name is Ignis, and he for years was a pyromaniac. Burned and burned, didn't burn the right people, and wound up channeling more raw power than he could control. Now, well, you can see what became of him. If you wish to learn more of him, perhaps that poor creature Drusilla can help you. Alright. Marcus. See a leather-skinned man with just a hint of ashen colour to his face. His teeth seem sharper than normal, and his eyes are filled with the boredom that comes with having seen too much. His voice is nasal and clipped. You again, eh? What do you want this time? You again? What do you mean? Yeah, you again. You got a hearing problem or something now? You was in here about 15 years ago, got all bubbed up, smashed the place and left a pile of coin that wasn't enough to pay for the damages. But you plucked out your own bleeding eyeball and told you you'll be back to reclaim it when you got 200 coins altogether. With 15 years interest, you got about 500 coins. You got the Jing Pal, I got your eye. 500, that's ridiculous. He pauses for a moment considering. That is, tell you what, give me 300 and the eye is yours. You can't afford it. Then you're not getting your eye back. Makes sense? Come talk to me when you got the Jing. Alright. Eye back. Oh, guy. See a man standing stock still. He isn't moving a muscle. On first examination, it appears he isn't even breathing, just standing. His eye sockets are empty, holes in his face. Contained within their bounds is a flat grey light that seems to dance with possibility. Looking into the sockets, the eerie, empty feeling of a limitless void shivers through you, as if you had gazed into a sliver of eternity. The head slowly swivels toward you. You notice that no muscles appear to move under his skin as he turns, and speaks in a pure bell-like tone. Well met, Wanderer. You've forgotten again, haven't you? Me? As he opens his mouth, you get that feeling of eternity again. Inside his mouth, you see no tongue, no teeth. It's almost as if this man were a shell surrounding an illimitable expanse. I've spoken of you before and always forget. What did you forget? Your endless quest to discover yourself ends always in your amnesia. You draw close to the truth and recoil. Let us hope that you have the strength to enjoy your existence. What do you know of me? I know that you, like a fly, rise up from the wreckage of your old shell, buzz about for a time, and curl up and die at the window of truth. You bumble about the pain, seeking the light without any plan to your actions, fall exhausted when you fail. You alight on others to feed from them and move on with no regard to them. I've watched you come here and listen to your words, watched you move away no wiser. Will you learn from your mistakes, Seeker? I don't think I like your tone. Though his face does not smile, the humour is evident in his voice. Your answer to all your problems is to fight blindly. Are you no more than a biting insect, or will you leave a fort at some point in your pitiful existence? Who are you to speak to me this way? I am O. For some reason, when he speaks his name, it sounds like he's speaking much more than a single letter. This, the speaking of his name, contained untold possibilities and nuance. No human tongue could ever create a sound. What name is that? It is my name. It is the name of a portion of eternity. I am a letter in the divine alphabet. Understanding me leads to understanding existence. I am written in the true names of half of everything. My being encompasses truth. I am mathematic, organic, metaphysic. What does that mean? Divine alphabet is writ in the name of everything that exists, from the seed at the hearts of the elemental planes to the core of the great beyond. My brothers, sisters, the word translates to I reach across all that is, was, or ever shall be. We are thought, and reality and concept, unimaginable. About the great beyond. Will not understand. No mortal possibly could. It is beyond the powers of comprehension of all but the most powerful of powers, and once they understand, they move beyond the veil of mortal comprehension. I can explain it no more than that. Perhaps sometime you will understand. What are you doing? Why? I'm watching the ebb and flow of mortality. What do you see? Mortals are like wasps. You build your lives' nests from the slimmest of branches, and when the wind shakes your home life free, seek to sting the wind to death, instead of realizing your foolish mistakes, attempting to repair the damage you have caused yourselves, learning from your experience, doing harm to any who have the misfortune to blunder near you in your time of pain and distress. My advice to you and to all mortals, stop acting like an insect and start acting sentient. Jared. I know where he is. I can give you the only one word. Nearby. We'll find him. The hive under a veil of secrecy. Patrons. Patrons at this place are varied, yet all mortal. Like all mortals, their concerns are limited, but the potential blossoming into actual truth. I can tell you this though, you may find a companion dear to your heart here, at least as dear as your heart will follow. I think I like your tone. Okay. Tell me about yourself. Okay. I don't know if that guy is important, something else, but... Hey. Right. Okay, yeah, the man stares at you if you have some form of bug. Stares at you blinking slowly. He turns his head, dismissing you without a word. Hello? You hear a subterranean rumble beginning deep in the man's chest. He lightly strokes his weapon. Stares at you with renewed interest. That's the way you want to be. Farewell. See a grizzled burly man in spiked armor. He eyes you coolly and slowly up and down, evaluating you. He pauses for a time on your face, almost as if he jogs his memory somehow. He sighs and then says, "Can I help you with something, friend? Recognize me?" Before I did, but those pictures are centuries out of date and the suspect be dead by now. Of course, there are planes and stranger things happen still. Still, if you're the fellow I'm thinking of, it looks like you served your sentence by means of pain. What can you tell me about the person you're talking about? It was a particularly brutal criminal. From what I understand, this was of course centuries ago. Immense strength, they said, enough anger to tear the head from whoever that is. Not a sod to be messing with. Word is he got himself surrounded by a red death patrol, escaped through a portal and hasn't been seen since. He frowned, studying you. They had pictures of him. Take away some of the scars, you might be related to him. Probably not him though. Like a nasty fellow. What about these guys? Ishai. See a scaled fiend who looks very similar to the one standing next to it. In addition to the pierced left ears, both are black-hued and reptilian, with bat wings tucked against themselves. This one is missing a tooth on its right side. Ah, Tigerin, it says. Our old friend has returned to pay us a visit. Though he has, Aethelgrin. Though he has, yet his eyes do not gleam as much as they did. What do you suppose brings him back to us? What does bring you back to us, friend? I know a lot of people in this bar. Who are you? Ah, Aethelgrin. Time has robbed our companion's memory. Honestly, do not recall us, do you? Truly, I am aggrieved. But, as am I, Tigerin. Truly aggrieved, yet I rest easy. It has after all been many hundreds of years. We know how the minds of mortals tend to dissipate with age. Ah, well spoken. Old friend, we are a pair of Abishai on leave from our current assignments in Bator. Bator? I am Tigerin in the Thrice Damned, so named for my ability to find the best in every situation. This is Aethelgrin, who has earned himself no special name, though not for lack of trying. Lack of trying? What do you mean? Aethelgrin ignores you as a response to his companion. Once again, Tigerin, you have cut straight to the truth of the matter. Though perhaps it is best not to have earned the sort of notice one bearing the name Thrice Damned must surely have incurred. What risks to you, boss? I don't like this. They're not supposed to be here. The Blood War hasn't kicked the celestial asses bad enough that any fiend can go furlough. So they want something. Tread carefully. In the meantime, Tigerin continues to respond to its companion. In its turn, Tigerin ignores you as it replies to his comrade. Once again, I maintain that any notice is better than no notice at all. The Abishai turns back to you. Old friend, does this answer your question as to our identities? I suppose it will have to. What are you doing? What are we doing? Why, is it not perfectly clear, old friend? We are on leave from our beloved assignment. Taking for ourselves some much-needed rest and perhaps inducing some additional glory at school. Our superiors fully support our presence, to be sure. In a more immediate sense, we are taking our entertainment in this delightful establishment. Of course, we are celebrating the return of our old friend. However, the stench of the breezes, which occasionally waft the scent of goodness in the door, debases us somewhat, leaving us physically, mentally, and spiritually weaker. Fortunately, the air in this ward of the city carries a delicious tang of pain and supplication. Wouldn't you agree? Again, the fiend smiles broadly at you. That thing. As we see it, there are two kinds of fiends, those who are correct and those who are not. Our side, that of the Batizu, is correct. The other side, that of the curse-hated chaotic Tanari, incorrect and must be exterminated. We hold the Tanari directly responsible for the Blood War. Were it not for them, we could have settled the lower planes in peace, and wouldn't have all the bother of fighting this wretched war, nor would the unfortunate pullovers into other planes be such a concern. Such a cause for concern among the namby-pamby do-gooders, the Tanari are directly to blame for the multiverse's sad state of affairs. That's not really what I was asking. The fiend pauses a moment and then brightens. Ah yes, you see we represent law and order. Those who break the law must be punished. We have no law and we have only anarchy. Surely you can see what anarchy has done for the Abyss. The spawned horrors beyond imagining. Any excesses that Batizu state may have indulged in her, simply to counter the rising tide of chaos represented by the Tanari. We mean no harm to anyone, we just prefer to understand where the boundaries are. What else? We never collected Nick Farrett. Farrett, I've heard his name. Is he not a sage of some sort? A necromancer, or is he a diviner of rubbish? Perhaps I have heard of him, friend, but do not have the pleasure of his company. Perhaps one of the other patrons here can help you. Yeah, well. Right. You see someone dressed as a female dustman with a half-empty glass in her right hand. As you near her, she calls out to you. You, over here. You notice that there's something wrong about her. Your exposure to the dustman leads you to believe she's just too lively and real to be a real member of the faction. Approach her. Hey, Cutter, buy a lady a drink? You're not really a dustman, are you? Looks around nervously and seems to sober right up. Why do you say that? Because you don't act like a dusty and you're not offering contracts. In fact, you're taking money in instead of giving it out for that corpse labor they do at the mortuary. Stifles a squeak of terror and hastens to explain. No, I'm not a dustman. I just found these robes in the street and I didn't have enough money to get good clothes and I heard there was a dustman thief around. You'd probably find him somewhere else in the southwest part of the hive. I saw him but I hid from him. Please do not hurt me. Not planning on it, you ought to know that you're not pulling it off too well. Now answer some questions. Who are you? Me? I'm Mochai. Just like to drink here and she loses her train of thought momentarily. I'm just a person, you know? Alright. What about the other patrons here? I don't know, they're just people. I don't deal much with people unless they buy me a drink. Crackling, billowing creature twists slowly above an iron grill upon the floor of the bar. It may have once been human, but now its skin is charred beyond recognition. Beams of fire from a wreath around the creature's body. The flames lick at the few remaining pockets of flesh, causing them to bubble and run like wax down the creature's skeletal frame. Greetings! The thing makes no response. It rises slowly within the flames. It lives, but it doesn't seem aware of anything other than the fire that surrounds it. Its skin is flame, its heart is flame, and you know within some shadowed corner of your memory that that thing is dangerous. Examine the creature. The heat surrounding this creature is incredible. To your surprise, the iron grill of the creature has sagged and bent from the heat. At first you thought the heat came from the grill, but you now realize it emanates from the creature. As you watch, flecks of ash drift from the writhing corpse and float slowly to the ceiling. Leave the thing alone. I'm gonna end the video here because quite frankly, my throat is starting to get a bit sore from all the talking. But yeah, we'll continue on next episode. Talk to Drusilla over here, and we'll probably try and do some quests and level up a little before we advance on to find Farad. So thank you for watching. Join us next time, and I'll see you later. Bye.